He's making such a lolcow of himself. It's hilarious.
Bro needs
like,
to get a life and a girl.
The way that he's having people go and attack you and your family and your sisters and my children, it's pretty disgusting.
No wonder you can't get a life and a girl. No wonder.
How's everyone doing today? I appreciate you clicking on this video, and I'm excited to bring you some new content today. In this video, we're going to be discussing somebody who I've wanted to talk about for quite a while. They go by the name Sinfernal Gaming on both TikTok and Instagram, but their real name is Scott Young, and they're somebody who I strongly feel should be deplatformed, and I feel like a lot of other people with sane minds agree with me. To get a good idea of how this person came to be who they are today, let's start at the beginning. Scott Young started his first account in the year 2021. That account went by the name Sinfernal Divine. Through that account, we can get a good glimpse of what Scott's content was all about at the beginning and his views, how he viewed other people's views. It was very interesting. It was a different time in his whole universe, and he seemed like a totally different person in some aspects.
The thing is, I love each and every one of you for the unique individual person you are in this world. On the other hand, I hate the human race. It is filled with sickness and pain. Due to the fact that I'm an admitted felon Satanist, I try not to plug my business on my personal TikTok page, but if you're able to get a hold of us in another way, then I would probably have no problem vetting you and seeing if you could adopt one of our puppies.
One thing that always stayed true is his Satanist ways. Yes, this guy is into Satanism. He's like 43 years old and he's a Satanist.
Well, I was forced Christian when I was young. Baptized, went to church, but really I was only sent to church to get me out of my drug addict mother's house so she can party and fuck people. Now, having hard reality as a child, I had questions at church that the pastors, the Sunday school teachers, none of them seemed to enjoy and didn't like me being in the presence. So I wasn't going to church to convince other kids my age at the time to ditch and go play video games down the street at the arcade or play house or doctor. Now, as I got older and I started learning that there were multiple religions out there, I looked into numerous of them. Once I picked up the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey and read it, I knew then I and everyone I know is really a Satanist. Just most people don't realize it yet. Proudly.
Now, keep Scott's age in mind because it's going to be important to the story as we continue to get deeper into it. Another thing that we see on Scott's old account is the fact that he works close to animals. He had a lot of videos where he was working in some kind of shelter or something like that, right?
How old is your dog? It could be some kind of follicle mite. Try a sulfur dip treatment.
Hapu, down.
That was Hapu. I trained him from 8 weeks to 16 weeks old. Every once in a while when his family goes on vacation, they bring him back to me to babysit and to go over his training. He is such a good boy.
The reason that I bring this up is because one of the first weird incidences I see with Scott is this crab video. This crab video comes from 2021, and I'm not going to do too much explaining because YouTube doesn't like when you explain things in too much detail, especially when it pertains to sensitive topics. But just to give you guys a good idea of what that video actually featured, let's just say an animal who was still living was unalived. Now, like I mentioned, I'm not going into a lot of detail on how this took place, but let's just say it wasn't in a humane way. It wasn't the way that you're actually supposed to kill this animal if you're wanting to eat it.
It's definitely alive. The crab video got violated.
So Scott posts that video, I guess just to maybe be like an edgelord or because he's some kind of kiss Satanist weirdo. But he posts the video thinking that it's funny. And then he has the gall to make a follow-up post referencing the post that got taken down. And I feel like this really goes to show how childish and immature Scott is. I mean, come on, dude. you really expected that post to stay up where you're showing an animal being unalived inhumanely? You work closely with animals. If you did any sort of research, any small amount of research, you would know that crabs are actually pretty smart. They're not the smartest animal in the world, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that a crab is on the same level as a human or something like that. I'm just saying they're animals that have been proven to be sentient, have feelings, and can remember things, especially being hurt. They've done experiments on crabs. I can pull up some sources here for you guys, but there's experiments that have been done where they have like electrocuted crabs. They sort of track their movement and they seen how stressed out they were in different scenarios, and it showed that they obviously felt the pain. Honestly, really everything feels pain if you kind of put it into perspective, but it's also the fact that they remember the said pain. They have memories and shit like that, like sort of sentient. I wouldn't say like they're on the same level as a dog, but I'm not a scientist. That's just from the research I've done. But if you're into animals, this video should shock you and make you sick. So I don't really get why you're working with animals if you're like a weird Satanist. Seems like a horrible job for somebody like that. Like, they shouldn't be around animals at all. So besides the Satanism and the crab video, which are two big things to try to overlook, I guess his videos were okay, and I can see why people started watching them, because, you know, you see like one video of his on your For You page, and if he's lucky enough, it's going to be one of the videos where he seems like a good person and he's like agreeing with the opposite opinion in some capacity. And back in the day, it seemed like he could do that very well, like especially when it pertained to things like religion. He was able to hear other people's opinions and not totally spurg out. One situation that I found to be pretty funny involving Scott's early days was his hate for Daniel Larson. He said there was a video of Daniel Larson showing himself to some people that he shouldn't have. Let's just say that he was being inappropriate towards people that he shouldn't have.
There's a semi-popular TikToker named Daniel Larson. This person should be locked up.
And yeah, there's a lot of videos like that. I mean, there's a lot of videos that you can point to where Daniel Larson is being an obvious PDF file, like no question about it. But later on, you'll see that Scott is basically borderlining that. I mean, if you really think about it. Let's just continue though. So that was basically like 2021 to 2022 Scott. He was basically just stating these crazy opinions, being a crazy Satanist. Nothing too bad except for the crab video, like I said. I mean, it was even kind of based the way that he called out Daniel Larson, some might say, but you'll quickly change your mind on this guy, because that was when he was with his wife and he was semi-normal.
Great day and good morning.
But now I believe it's been about 1.5 years since him and his wife split up. And who knows how their relationship was even before that. This dude's like a weird Satanist who craves sex in any capacity. In 2023, he made a video where he admits to being a sociopath and says that he wants a way to express his lust.
It's quite common that people understand that sociopaths, like myself, feel lust and anger of all the emotions mainly. You know what sucks? I have nothing to express my lust with.
And in this video, I don't even think he really knows what a sociopath is. I don't think he really understands what he's talking about. Like, from my understanding, it just meant an overall lack of empathy and certain emotions. Like, literally, the only time that I've ever heard somebody be described as a sociopath is when I'm watching, like, documentaries, you know what I mean? I've never heard a normal person in everyday conversation say, hey, what's up? My name's Scott. I'm a sociopath. What's your name? It's like, the fuck? Get out of here, dude. What are you talking about? You're scaring away the hoes. You know what I mean?
Milk.
Yeah, I didn't know lust was a part of being a sociopath, whatever the that means. I don't know what homie was talking about in that video. It's highly concerning for somebody just to self-admit to being a sociopath. Like, come on, dude. And then to go on and get angry when people find you weird. It just doesn't make sense. You want to be seen as odd, right? That's why you make these statements. So why do you get mad when people find you odd? Maybe you shouldn't say weird shit on the internet if you don't want people to be creeped out by you, man. But yeah, that's basically 2023. Homie started really going off on his timeline and making some obscure ass videos. Now in 2024, that's when the full lust arc begins. And he started making NSFW content on a separate website. I'm not going to say the website's name, but let's just say it's a 2-letter acronym. And homie's proud as fuck about it. He's like the top 22 creator or something like that. He's always bragging about it. And yeah, I guess he just loves to have sex in any capacity. Not only that, but he also started dating a girl who turned freshly 18. And when I say freshly 18, I mean still in high school. 2 months after turning 18, he started dating her.
What exactly about my relationship is creepy to you? I don't really understand this. I get some people may have concerns considering our age gaps, right? If there was a chance that I knew her when she was younger than 18 and we began this relationship, which I did not know her before she was 18. Had no idea who she was until she came to my stream in March this year. Apparently she turned 18 in January this year. But what exactly is creepy? She's an adult woman. I'm an adult man. We met, we spoke, we have common interests, and we liked each other. She expressed her interest first. We've both spoken about how our relationship might look to people on the outside, but I'm not ashamed and she's not ashamed. So we were open with our love. I would think if we tried to keep it quiet from you guys, that might be a little creepy, but considering we've been open and light and love with it, maybe you should.
Now, Scott claims this wasn't planned. He claims that she reached out to him.
This is where people's perceptions are wrong. So I didn't meet her and be like, oh, look, how'd you put it? A barely legal woman to date. That's nowhere in my mind. Not even, I mean, it's a gross thought for that. Now, as you know, I'm a streamer. I'm a gamer. I game with viewers. One night, a girl came into my stream. She wanted to game. We gamed. Someone in stream mentioned my own. She's like, you have an only. I said, yeah. She said, what is it? I said, I don't tell people. You have to find it on my Twitter. She left and went and found it on my Twitter. She comes back. She says, I like your. Here's my only. Showed me hers. I said, we should promote each other's. We did that. We both made some money. During that time, we talked. We wound up liking each other. It just so happened she's an 18-year-old woman. Big deal.
Honestly, I don't even care. Like, that doesn't even matter to me. I don't care who reached out to who. If you're significantly older, like an adult, you should have the knowledge not to talk to somebody. Now, I know legally this person is 18, they're an adult, whatever. But I'm speaking morally. This 43-year-old man shouldn't be with an 18-year-old girl. Now, I'm not saying he's a PDF file for it, but I'm saying he's creepy. There's other accusations that people have made that show that he may be a PDF file talking to 16-year-olds.
Me flirting. Hi. I think you're cute. You want to hang out sometime? Or, you know, I've got to just know how to use it.
Let's look at the comments on this video, shall we? Profile says 16. He liked the comment. Another one here that says, age ain't none but a number. He liked the comment.
He's sick, man. He's got issues. And I know he's gonna watch this, but literally everything I say is facts, dude. It was so wild watching this shit go down, because I've been following this for quite a while. And it shocks me how this guy just can't see how other people find what he's doing both weird and creepy. Like most weirdos who date high out of their age range, he's very focused on the legality of things.
Roman, you keep trying to add your own personal f***ing morals into the legality of situations. Like, don't be dumb.
And your morality is not the morality of the world. If what I was doing was wrong, then I would be canceled for sure.
And listen, if you're like 18 and you're dating a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, a 22-year-old, I don't care. I'm not going to complain about that. Who cares? Honestly, tell me, do you care? But like, if you look at a 42-year-old and an 18-year-old, be honest with me. Like, does that make you feel some kind of way? If it doesn't, then maybe you should reevaluate how you think about the world, because that's just not right. I mean, anybody with a brain can think about how an 18-year-old thinks, how mature an 18-year-old is, especially still in high school. An 18-year-old that hasn't even finished high school yet. Come on. Are you serious? You're gonna look at people and act like that's not an issue? It don't even matter. Like, the only people that would say that that's not an issue are just dumb contrarians who don't even know what they believe themselves. People like that will just basically say the opposite of whatever you say just so they can feel some kind of superiority over you. Like they know something more than you do. When in actuality, they just want to do some kind of mental gymnastics so they can have an excuse to be weirdos and date people, like I said, extremely out of their age range. Like 2 decades extremely out of their age range. Concerning shit. So we've talked about a lot so far. To bring you up to speed, Scott is a dude who tries to be an edgy teenager. He's a Satanist. He's a self-admitted sociopath. And he spends all day getting high and sharing his every single thought on social media. He wants to come off as somebody who's cool and edgy and doesn't really care what other people think. Yet, he ends up just investing way too much time into comments and what trolls tell him. And it creates a great breeding ground for trolling. I mean, this guy just set himself up to be a lolcow with the whole replying to comment shit. I know it's good for the algorithm, but you really gotta pick and choose what comments you're replying to, man. Because literally every single time you're just replying to somebody who has the opposite opinion of you at this point.
Look at my reply to your comment here. Is that flirting with you? Let's go. Okay, do me a favor. Look at your own account, and then look at any of my accounts, right? When you get a notification, you are very excited and surprised that somebody even said anything on your account, right? And you're able to check it and see who those people are and learn about them, kind of infer stuff. Me, look at my account. I get thousands of notifications. Do you honestly think that I go and check thousands of people's pages, let alone any of your pages? Like I've stated before, I do not go to your page. I don't know what race you are. I don't know what gender you have. I don't know what age group you're in. You're just ones and zeros on a screen who's typed some shit in a comment or into a DM. And I might respond to you. I choose all kinds of different people to respond to. But, like I stated, you might know who comments on your shit because you have a nothing account. I have no idea who any of you are.
He just completely devolved into somebody who is constantly looking for a fight. He's looking for something to be angry at. He's looking for an argument instead of just ignoring comments. He doesn't even take his own advice. I mean, in the past, he said himself that the best thing to do with trolls is to just ignore them. Yet he's literally having supposed direct conversations with them. And that brings me to one of the next main points in this video. His weird beefs with people online such as lolcow Archive and lolcow Enterprise. It's weird that he's so hyper focused on those two individuals, going as far as to say that he doxed one of them and somehow has his phone and can track him and says that he frequents an elementary school.
Oh no, if I gave you the address of which I have, and the elementary school of which they frequent for some reason because their phone is there all the time, which is really weird, then that might be doxing. But I've turned that information to the police.
First of all, Scott, there's no realistic way that you tapped into this dude's phone. Are you schizo? I mean, honestly, dude, how are you that weak that you can't hear other people's opinions on you? Can you like not take criticism at all whatsoever? He also takes everything at face value. Like he'll get random messages from people who claim to be either lolcow Archive or lolcow Enterprise, on like Discord and shit, and they're saying things that are obviously either not from them or a complete joke.
Right, and didn't they also admit to like making everything up? And offering you 10K for a little fun.
Most recently, Scott got broken up with by that 18-year-old girl. Let me detail y'all what happened. So the girl's name is Aaliyah. Scott and Aaliyah went on a trip, and everything was cool during the trip. They posted a lot of videos, and it seemed like they were having a pretty cool time. Then Scott comes back and announces that he had broken up with Aaliyah. But he didn't just announce it in a normal way. He ended up eventually making a video where he was just straight up crying about their relationship.
I love you too, Aaliyah. You're also amazing.
It's the most immature shit I've ever seen. I mean, I get crying, you know, you're sad about losing your partner or whatever. But putting that shit on the internet for a bunch of people to see is some really weak shit, dude. You don't need to do that. You know damn well you did that shit for attention. And it's weird coming from a 43-year-old man. The trolling was already happening before this incident, but I mean, after they broke up and he cried, it just upped the trolling so much. Like, once people see that little peak of weakness, they just want to dive right in and make your life a living hell. And that's what they did. I mean, they just went into this guy's comments so much that he had to turn them off, and he ended up limiting them. His other account got banned because he was trying to dox lolcow Enterprise and lolcow Archive. It's stupid, bro. Like, you can't handle any sort of criticism. Are you that dumb? I mean, he probably is, considering his excuses for dating an 18-year-old. He says that the girl came to him. Like I mentioned earlier, he has this whole story that he was in his Kick chat and this girl came in and she was flirting with him, and it was love at first sight, and then they had a conversation. He ID'd her. Weirdo shit, right? You shouldn't even be talking to people where you have to ID them. You're 43 years old. I've never met a 43-year-old in my life. I've looked at them and I've thought, you know, maybe they're underage. I need to take their ID. Shit, I've never met a 20-year-old in my life yet that I've had to do that. It's just weirdo shit. If you're sussed out about somebody's age so much that you need to take their ID to verify it, don't talk to them. And then it makes you look even more weird when you start focusing so much on legality rather than morality. When you start making that argument, people are going to look at you sideways because they know that if the age was lowered, you would be taking whatever you can get. Like, the fact that the law is 18 and that's the only thing that's stopping you, or the only thing that's like preventing you from going under, is pretty fucking crazy, dude.
Use the brain that's in your head, okay? I'm sure you have one because you're typing and responding and saying shit that's stupid. Now, age of consent laws are lower in some states. I've lived in a lot of states, including states where age of consent laws are lower. Not once in my life have I ever sought somebody who was outside of my own age group, and that even includes today. I have never personally gone out seeking for anybody outside of my own age group. Aaliyah came to me, and through mutual discourse, we ended up liking each other. I literally ID'd her.
You don't have a lick of morality, a lick of thought, your own mind that's telling you whether or not this is bad. You're telling me that the only thing that's stopping you from dating somebody under 18 is the laws of whatever state you're in. It's just weird, bro. Like, you should be able to use your own mind. You should be able to use your own morals and know that that's something that's bad. You, as a 43-year-old, should be dating somebody in your age range. I mean, shit, if this person was like 21, 22, I wouldn't even care. Even that's better than a 18-year-old who's still in high school, hasn't even fucking graduated yet, dude. Put that into perspective. There's 2 decades separating these people. There's no reason that they should be dating. Not at this time. Maybe in a different time frame. Maybe if she was, like I said, 21 or 22 and he was a little bit older, I don't know, then maybe it wouldn't be that bad. It would still be creepy. But I wouldn't look at him and think, well, that guy might be a PDF file. But now you look at him and you think, wow, this guy might be doing some creepy shit. Especially considering the old TikToks that have resurfaced proving that he was doing some weird stuff, allegedly, in the past. And like I said, just the fact that he dated an 18-year-old didn't make me think he was a PDF file. Honestly, for me, it's the weird justifications, the weird defenses, the story that he tells pertaining to how they met, how he always has to hyper focus on the fact that the laws say that he can date her. It just seems weird, dude. Like, morally, you know that this is wrong and you're trying to do whatever mental gymnastics you can to justify in your mind why you should be dating this girl. When in reality, the reason that you guys had so much in common to begin with probably has to do with how immature you are. You're like a man-child, dude. Or more like a man-teenager. It's almost like he wants to come off as like edgy, cool, and hip. The whole Satanist, edgy, I like to harm animals, I like to harm people kind of thing. It's sick, dude. It's something you'd see from like some edgy goth 15-year-old kid. Like, the fact that you have more in common with an 18-year-old than somebody in your own age range should be a huge red flag to not just yourself, but everyone around you. This person is more closer in age to your young son than they are to you. It's just weird. You've obviously thought about this, Scott. You put this into perspective, right? How come you yourself don't see this as an issue? Or do you see this as an issue and you're suppressing it deep down? Either way, it shows how cowardly you are. So that's all I have to say. Scott, I know you're watching this. You respond to like everybody who makes videos on you, so I'm sure you'll see this. Just want to let you know that the fact that you respond to people and try to dox them or whatever because they disagree with you, it doesn't make you some kind of cool, strong man or something like that, bro. You're a coward. You're on the internet messing around with an 18-year-old who's still in high school. Most of your fan base is probably a bunch of edgy teenagers who think it's cool to harm people for fun. Like, that's your whole idea, right? That's your whole lifestyle. You've said it before. You want to harm people and you get some kind of sick sexual out of it, right? You're a weirdo, dude. Like, the only people that watch you are other weirdos. And you're a coward for always responding to the people who disagree with you. You're never going to get anywhere doing that. The root of the problem is you. You're insecure. And you obviously have some kind of mental issues. And they're not like the regular mental issues that we're usually dealing with. You are 100%, without a doubt, capable of knowing right from wrong and understanding what you did was stupid and makes you a creep. Now, I'm not going to go on and do the extreme and go as far as to say you're a PDF file. Not yet. I haven't gotten 100% solid proof. So allegedly, Scott is a PDF file. But I'd say at the very least, he's a weirdo who's definitely borderlining it without question. Dating a high schooler in any capacity is weird, whether they turn 18 or not. And I don't see how people could defend it. At least not anybody who's sane. Anyway, thank you for watching. A huge shout out to both the lolcow Archive and lolcow Enterprise. They've talked about Scott tons on both their channels and they have a lot of insight on the dude. So if y'all want some more info on Scott, you can check out all of lolcow Enterprise's videos or all of the lolcow Archive's videos on his Instagram page. It's a really good source for content. Either of them are a really good source for content, really. This documentary is honestly months in the making. I've been watching this guy from afar for quite a while, and there's a couple other people that I've been watching quite a while. And I'm just kind of waiting for their story to completely unravel so that I can make a full video on them. but I feel like Scott's story has just about ended. He's broken up with Aaliyah. Most of the people on the internet find him to be very weird and creepy. He's made a fool of himself numerous times. I don't feel like there's really anywhere else for this story to go. But yeah, I've been watching this guy for a cool minute, just seeing all the weird posts he made, his interactions with people in his comment section. He has some kind of gross, weird, sick mind, and he thinks he's God or something. He's one of those sick motherfuckers, you know? I felt like his story was important to tell, and more people should definitely know about Scott. There's no reason why this weirdo should be on the internet, man. He's just looking for more high schoolers to date. It's quite obvious. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you watched all the way till the end, you're the best. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.